Hey folks, Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into our broadcast tonight, which is going to be a spicy one, we've got a few things we want to do. First and foremost, we want to put a shout out to our good friends at the Independent Creator Directory, your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, artists, and musicians. If you want to join their number using code podcast1, you can get it half off, but only for the first 100 people through the door, and that number is dwindling now. We need to come here. One of my banners isn't where it's supposed to be. Here we go. Bam. All righty. We are also made possible by sales of the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all part of my ongoing series of Western martial arts manuals designed to help you. Hold on. Let me snuggle up a little bit because I realize what's going on here. Yes, friends, let me help you learn how to wield swords and teach that to others. Now, I am running barely on time, and we are only set up this nicely because our man, the hero, the man of the hour, Mr. Joe Bachman, was able to get things set up because I had to acquire medicine, not from my usual 6-mile away pharmacy, but from about a 60-mile away pharmacy. So, that means after this broadcast, I get to stab myself in the leg. One of those days. But we have a lot to talk about, and to talk about that, I don't have to do it alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this right here. Bam.
Howdy.
That's Joe Bachman. Hey, Joe.
Howdy.
Do you want to tell them what we're doing tomorrow?
So tomorrow at Twin Oaks Park in New Chicago, Indiana, technically Hobart, Indiana, since we share their zip code, at 5 p.m., the Historical Fencing Guild will be doing a live demonstration of sword fighting. We'll be doing that from 5 till shortly before the Gary Shakespeare Company starts their play, The Comedy of Errors, which will go from 7 p.m. to roughly 9 p.m.
I am so excited. I haven't gotten to sword fight with a bunch of you in a long time.
And it won't be nearly as hot this year as it was last year when we did the first show.
Well, on the temperature side, it will be a lot less hot. But on the appearance side, friends, I'm looking good right now. I'm under 300 pounds for the first time in 15 years. We are doing very good. It's amazing finding out that, no, you actually can't lose weight that way will do for a person. So I am riding really, really high. And I'm just, it's a good day. So we'll probably, we'll probably be fighting Dusseks, because I know if Dusseks aren't fought, there will be lamentations. Something in the rapier family. I'll probably bring out the youth longsword trainer to let you guys play with the goofy thing, because I think it needs more love. It just needs more love. I'm just trying to decide what all we need to bring, and amongst other things.
Well, you're going to need at least 2 shields, because you and Trey are going to want to do sword and shield.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to find my bucklers, which I know where they are. They're actually still in the same spot I left them from from last year.
And a couple of daggers, because I know you and Trey are going to end up doing sword and dagger.
Well, I have at least one of them.
I think, we got a couple also. So
that's true. So we should be fine.
Yeah.
And so there'll be goodies. People get to see fighting live. It's always good to see that moment when you have corrupted a small child that forever they will be searching for ways to stab people. It's a great and powerful moment.
Yes.
It does mean, however, occasionally we run late on these shows, but we will not be running late tonight because we have, urgent business to attend to in prep. And totally not us actually planning to slink off to the green room for a while, because that would be a horrible life choice, and we don't make horrible life choices.
No, we don't.
But it's looking like we may, health and weather permitting, be joined by Don Dulas.
Yes.
Which means that schedule may be upended. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Amanda yet about it. We had to do some very custom navigation of Lafayette because they like closing the main bridge to one lane and making backups that go for a couple miles randomly with no warning. So I got to download. I got to actually tell Google Maps, no, I'm not going there. Yeah, no, I'm going here. You can't stop me. Just track me for a while. And when I get somewhere useful and you give me... So you're like, it's just constantly recalculating. And yes, skipping briefly ahead. Ooh, me? Teehee?
So I literally just left the green room. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go get Nick's show started because I finally got the studio set up.
Yes.
And I no sooner disconnected and hit enter studio and you were in here. I'm like, that I literally just create, like, you must have loaded into the back end of StreamYard right after I hit create.
It must have been like milliseconds.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with that because we came skating in and I'm truly, truly excited, which makes it hard to think for the show because my brain is in full, okay, I know where this is. I need to find or replace that. Where the heck are those? Fortunately, it's an afternoon show, so I will spend the morning running around like the deranged Muppet that I am in full Kermit.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a necessary part of every organized event. You should see me the night before one of the conventions, folks. But yeah, it's very, very cool. I may start rotating around and doing more demos. I'm not sure. But after this, my whole world will switch over to prep for StompCon.
Yep. Which means I need to get more stuff prepped for the con, but...
Oh, yes. We both do. I have a laser cutter to assemble and probably a 3D printer that should be assembled.
Yeah,
and
my 3D printer's still in the box. I need to get it assembled.
Yes. With our powers assembled. But things are looking good. Things are looking very good. We are very active and we're getting stuff done. And I love to talk with Joe around because he loves the art as much as anybody else and managed to kind of slide past all the Scadian nonsense. It's like, I don't do anything. Tink, 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 tink. Don't know what you're talking about. Tink, 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 tink. But I'm going to knock through the comments real quick because we have Foxy first through the door. Evening all. Hey, Foxy. Thesis, of course, LOLO. And Alec, glad to see you. I hope you're feeling better than you were last night. I know there was some difficulties, but I did what I could, and we will talk at your leisure. However, if I send you, are you okay? Next time, please respond. Okay. Hey, Alec. And yes, your spear is finished. You've been hand sanding the nose on that for ages, haven't you? Yeah.
I've just spent the last hour and a half in a certain colored room, and you're going to give me that line.
He gave it to me. But splitters and all. No, I'm glad your spear is getting finished.
Yes.
What tools are you guys lacking? Like, do you have like a full set of reasonable power tools and hand tools? And I'm trying to figure out if you are doing things using the methods you're doing out of desire or necessity for the crafty side of things. And Kitty's saying, hey, Joe. And
hello.
Foxy's saying, hi, Joe. I love how they say hi to you. They ignore me. I'm just the host of this Mad Cat Mayhem.
They're used to seeing you on camera, though. Me, I just make random appearances.
This is true, but I got you this time.
I won't tell you that I let you get me because I saw your hand move towards the mouse. I already knew you had your hand over the button.
Anyway, Don says it takes a village thesis, and we're one heck of a village. Absolutely. And from whatever we can borrow. Mostly whatever we can borrow from his dad. Okay. See, that is good for us to know, especially in about 5 months. Yeah, almost exactly 5 months from now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth, the first, the fourth. Yes, I don't want bread coats boarded in my home. I know what I'm talking about. I don't plead the second pleads itself. Oh, there I am, demonetized for another home. Apologies, Nick. I understand, and you should, but at the same time, I'm an adult and you're not, so you shouldn't have to worry. You're fine.
Yeah.
Roast sandwiches for dinner. Ooh, with the au jus, do you have the dippy dip? If you're having roast beef without the au jus to dip, I don't know if you're actually having roast beef. Your birthday's only 2 months away, he says, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, so I've caught up. I've been a good host. I don't usually run commercials on this. I probably will at some point because Joe's here. But do you guys have any questions for me or for Joe about any of the sword fighting we're going to do? Because I realize many of you have never set up for a demo, and this is a good point to be educational and not dwell on the fact that Nick Knows Nerf has some more episodes coming out in the near future because of some acquisitions. I mean,
do I need to get the stuff together to set up the list field, or are you bringing stuff?
You probably have to because
okay.
I'm not sure what I will have available.
Well,
everything.
All the steaks that we used last year, are still in the bed of my truck. So all I gotta do is pull those out, stick them in the ground, and grab some fresh caution tape.
Wonderful, because the stakes have never been higher. But
only if they're from Illinois.
Remember, we're a backwater little town that will bust you. Anyhow, I don't know where that transatlantic voice came from, but I've been unhinged all day. If you guys saw Nevermind the Furthermore on the sister network to this, the Nicholas Tucker channel, I would apologize, but one second. Eat. We'll be here. And it was unhinged, and I'm feeling the same kind of energy coming out here. So life is really good. I am delighting that on the Western Martial Arts Forum, someone came up. Has anyone done anything making their own trainers out of? I've heard of the stuff called HDPE. Oh no! I didn't get to dig out some like 5-year-old old hoary. Good God, my hair was brown back then.
It's amazing what 5 years does.
Oh, absolutely. Now, we are joined by Johnny with a sword-based. If you were fighting with an S-Talk and someone offered you a hot dog, would you consider the hot dog a sandwich? First off,
because aliens wear hats.
No, there is an answer. According to the bread dispersal theory, if it is sandwiched between two pieces of bread, it is a sandwich. If it is wrapped around a bread product is wrapped around it, leaving the top open, it is a taco. So by that rule, hot dogs are indeed tacos.
What if, and this happens a lot with me with the hot dog buns, especially the cheap ones.
Yes.
When you open the bun and it just splits all the way through, so you end up actually with a top and bottom separated for your hot dog.
As soon as it separates, then it's a sausage sandwich.
Okay.
Now, the trick is, if you're fighting with an S-Stock, that is a long thrusting, it's basically a thrusting longsword, which means you could easily take a sausage and roast it on the end. So is the hot dog fully wrapped, or is it simply the sausage?
Well, and then the final question is, what if it's a foot wide hot dog?
then you just have to dislocate your jaw. And let's see. Put yourself a reminder on Finch Alec for nomming. Yes, we'll put that on the whole stack of reminders that Alec is going to have. And Alex says a hot dog is its own thing. Oh dear, did I just eat a taco tonight? Possibly. And Zhang Wei 3.0 says, bring back Mensier scars. That is interesting. I do not have a scar like Fearless Leader, but I do have a scar that runs along my eyebrow from a spiked ring. And that's as close as I get because I don't let people usually poke me in the face. But welcome to the show. If you have any questions or comments, I would say that would be a worthy measure of, we'll say, accountability.
Yes.
You know, I do believe if more people dueled just to the first blood, I'm not a monster, but if dueling returned to the first blood, I think people would be a lot more socially conscious and civil to each other. We've had too many people hide far too comfortably behind the screens.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube, for the purpose of sanity, that is something called a joke. But let's see. Good idea.
I won't say what just came in my head because this is
Okay.
not the green room.
It is not the green room, but it's a good time. Let me see. So I know I had something vaguely. Oh, we were going to talk. No, we talked the inspirations last week. What were we talking about before? I'm not sure what that means, Zhang. Or is it Zhong? My Chinese enunciation is terrible, and I do apologize. Please put it to my own ignorance and speech impediment, not any intended miss anything. But salute. Well, salute to you too, sir. Or ma'am. I don't judge. But yeah, we will be doing the demos, which is always good. It will be a good point to see. I'm looking forward to seeing the footage because
we will get footage again this year. And I have a tripod now too that I can put my phone on. So we might be able to get a couple different angles if you want to run yours also.
That's what I'm hoping. What would be great is if we got a bunch of somebody who was talented at editing, just like hammered together something cool. I am not talented at editing. Editing is like formatting. This is why I prefer to live stream.
Well, I do have the software working again on my Mac, so.
Oh no, poor Joe. Womp, 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 womp. Okay. You're stealing my idea. Okay. Thesis says, I'm stealing your idea, by the way. Tomorrow's stream will be about influences for me that made me into the swordsman I am today. Thesis, we're sword tubers. If there's one thing sword tubers do better than anyone else, it is steal the ideas of other sword tubers. Yes, that's what Skull and that AI-loving Australian idiot, whose name I will not speak, and Matt Easton of Skull Gladiatoria and a bunch of others use a sword sage. And so we're supposed to borrow ideas and discuss things. Right now, everyone is talking about halberds. It's delightful. I love a good halberd, you know? Pole arms don't get enough love. But Alex says, I added those alarms last night, but just passed out before I got to send them. Excellent. That is just making sure you have the receipts for later, Alec. And sometimes in life we have to deal with rampant narcissists who will try to gaslight folks. And in the event of that, the tactical decision is to go, but wait, if that's true, why do I have all this evidence to the contrary? Would you like to try again? Because once you start to learn to think strategically, my dear friends, it infects all your aspects of life. And you start to do things like make sure you keep your emails off the server backed up so that when people claim things, you can always go, oh, no, 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 au contraire, mon frère. And you make things happen. But, and I am sorry, I am coming down off of way too happy. Oh wait, pole arms just need steel folded a million. What is that? 10 million times? Let me get. Yeah, 1 million times to get more fans. Oh no, I got good. Not that many times, but I mean, hold on. Let me move that over to the unboxing pile. Woohoo! Be right back.
Okay.
No, I'm not going far. What you're talking about is something like this. And I believe, let me see if I still have it under banners. Trained professional, do not attempt. Yes, this is a live steel naginata. It is my wife's live steel naginata. But yes, if you want a katana polearm, a proper naginata, this I believe was made by Sabersmith. I believe this is a Sabersmith naginata. Is highly effective. This one's not terribly long. It's about a 6 foot long, which makes it more transportable and easier to use in the house. However, that's the solution. Let me see. I have to be careful because I am wielding actual live steel here. But I cleared out some stuff so you can see. It has a butt pad kind of situation, but not a butt spike, which is proper for this weapon, but not the preference. So there may be a butt spike added. This was given by John Miner to my lovely wife for her birthday.
Nice.
And it is so if you are a katana fan and you want a polearm of that, you probably want to go with a naginata. These are very, very effective. They are actually often associated with Japanese women because they were literally designed for household like defense, which is why it's so devastating to have a spear-like object in a narrow hallway. Because many times the attitude, and this is still psychologically true today. Let me prop this up where it's safe. When there is an incursion, the female mindset, as psychologically recorded, is to fall back to a safe position and then defend it instead of dealing with the threat way out by the perimeter. It's really interesting. The sociology of applied violence is something people need to look into, and the psychology of applied violence, especially gender roles within it, because you find out interesting things because this mentality goes through all the way to today when you start studying actual cases of home invasions and things. Let me see. Sandwiches were so good, we might go buy more for the next few days. We like sandwiches. I'm planning on filming my review of the Hanjin trainer this weekend. Well, I am so glad you have it. Johnny is just stirring the poop again. Well, that's what he does. Johnny Cage is a living embodiment of chaos. We need some agitation. It'd be so empty without him. Will the real Shady Johnny please stand up? Anyway, and Kitty's looking forward to the review. I'm sure it will be a grand review. I will be doing a series of reviews after this weekend because I realized I've had a bunch of trainers that I wanted to do long-term reviews from the perspective of somebody who's actually used them. Because it's one thing to say, yeah, this feels good in the hand, and I fought it. Fight with it for a while, and then review it so people understand the pros, the cons, because you find things out, especially with synthetic trainers at different temperatures, for example. Some of them can get a little wibbly. And Johnny says, the most eloquent way I've been called a jackass. Well, I wouldn't say that. Trust me, if I'm calling you a jackass, you'll be aware, sir. And I will do so with clarity. No, you don't deserve that level of treatment. You just simply need to be recognized for what you give the world. And what you give the world is exquisite art and biting sarcasm. And these two things combined, excluding your physicality, which is everyone knows is delightful, it just builds a mythos around you. Enjoy it. You deserve to have a mythos. But I'm having the great joy of going, which of my toys am I bringing? Which ones am I leaving at home? I want to bring them all. I'd get in trouble if I did. But there's always the desire. I need to, if I'm going somewhere with fighting, I need to be able to arm at least 30 fighters, right? I mean, that's how it. What do you mean
Sorry.
you don't? Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting texts from our chief of police. They're having issues with their email for the town. So
do you need me to let you go for a while?
Yeah, I may need to hop off here.
No problem.
This is going to involve a call to the hosting company and going, hey, I gave you guys money through 2026. Why is this not working? So,
well, best of luck. If you get back in time, we'll talk about the what we're going to do, because I'd love to know what you want us to focus on this year after last year's assorted shenanigans.
As far as what we should focus on this year, I think probably some more probably more sword and shield, sword and dagger.
Okay.
Some two-handed stuff. But it's we can focus on a lot more this year because we're not just going to be standing there and losing gallons of water just by breathing. So
it did get very nearly fatal for a bit there, and I think the only thing that brought us back to life was the Cracker Barrel tolerable attempt at chicken and dumplings. But
right,
that's the problem with when you have homemade chicken and dumplings. Cracker Barrel are okay till you have the good ones. Away!
I'll see you guys later.
Toodles, Joe. See, boom. All right, now I'm going to put this back, and I'm going to run a commercial because I can. I don't normally, or do I have them? I don't have any commercials set up on this brand. So what I will do then is come over here, ignore the change in things for just a moment so that I can run this. So, for part of what we're doing tomorrow, obviously, will be a whole lot of fighting, which I'm eager to get actual sparring footage for you guys. I know a whole lot of what we've done has been live stream based, and YouTube does not like that. So we will have some more sparring sessions. I am dealing with the fact that my weed whacker broke. So once that is fixed, I will be redoing the list field, and we'll have people over to do stuff more locally and frequently. But it's important that I know how to focus on what you guys are interested in. what you need, and Rice Krispies. Those are good. Rent some goats. That's not a bad idea if that were something available in the area. I literally would rent, borrow, or acquire some goats. But for now, we are. Oh god, my internet's being a little dubious. Sorry. Okay, we're looking at what we can do to entertain and educate and what you guys need, because a big part of this program is in service to my newer students, wherein I cannot directly teach minors and people underage and a few other things for litigious, perhaps, reasons and caution. I can answer basic sword mastery questions in a format like this, so that is always there. The other good thing is we get to discuss and demonstrate the basis of going from the ground up, which is something I talk about all the time. But we need to, when we're talking about what we're doing, we're setting up what we're doing. Just like it's ground up in the build, you have to go ground up in designing your list field. So that is something I can talk about, because we will be laying out list fields for the demo. My favorite drill? That's a great one. My favorite drill currently is my nightly drill set, wherein I go through all 9 of the guards in this, the 8 of the guards, plus a specific type of offline parry, and then some shoulder working exercises. I do this every single night. I do the I do additional drills as we're going. Footwork drills. I'm trying to remember. I believe it was the Destreza project. Translated something called the Circle and the Cross, which has a series of footwork moves that are very dance-like. Recently, I was talking to one of my students, and we were talking about footwork. And I was complimented on how smooth and easy I make it look, which, to someone who does not consider themselves all that graceful, it's a high compliment. But understanding the basic geometry of combat, of martial arts combat, relative to your opponent, informs everything you're going to do. Because there are a couple things you need to understand, and it doesn't matter what style, what weapon you're using. You need to focus on the same basics, in that of understanding your reach, your measure, and your timing. Your opponents especially. So you need to know what you can hit, when you can hit that. How do I want to put this? How to find the rhythm of a fight so that you can start to control it, so that when you need to, you can change it. Because the vast majority of kills come from a change in the timing more than anything else. People think it's a change in the reach. Sometimes the vast majority of kills come from a change in the timing. Because by changing your timing, they will fix your reach problems, whatever they are. And by processing the adjustment of the speed of your engagement, how fast you're parrying, how fast you're riposting, it lives up to the spirit of what you're doing. It's the core. And once you start to understand, my goal is not just to understand this core that I'm speaking of, but to express it. And it's a complex concept. woven of different pieces of knowledge. And if you understand the correct core of this, any weapon becomes viable because they train uh, they train you to adjust naturally. And what you look for are the same motions that you can use basically for whatever you're doing. And when you start looking, you'll start to develop these motions. And a lot of the work I've done, it's so not dramatic. A lot of people like the great sweeping cuts and things because they're trying to build the song. I'm a jazz player. It's the only way I can explain it. I don't use a lot of pre-arranged combos. I have phrases, combat phrase. Oh, if I'm going to parry, if I parry this way, it'll flow into this. If I parry that way, it'll flow into this. For me, it's about understanding the physical discussion of the engagement. So at this point, I do those drills for maintenance. They are assessment and maintenance. And then I simply will play. It sounds silly, but I'll take a trainer and I'll just do slow work and I will just flow from guard to guard, footwork to footwork. And as I'm doing it, I'm not even really focusing in on a specific goal of I want to go from here to here to here. That's a different kind of thing. It's feeling, okay, if I do this, when I say this physically, where am I open? Where am I weak? Where am I strong? Will it move nicely to here, or will a joint catch? Will the weapon bind? And it's a constant flowing element of continual motion. So when I get really loosening up, I have people, what form are you drilling? There is no form. I'm formless when it comes to that. I don't do pre-recorded katas and forms like that. I do instead the just learning the phrases and seeing how they're going to piece together as needed. Because the idea, it's very, very Bruce Lee, but I want to be water. I don't want to have a rigid box of I am doing this. I don't need that. I don't need that constraint. I don't need that limitation. I want to be able to flow around my opponents. I want to be able to flow around their guards. I want to be able to flow out of the way. So that the vast majority of time, I am using a very yin approach. I would rather cede personally. So I practice that, drawing my opponent in by letting them feel they have gained territory, only to then, from a position of better leverage, counter and make my counterpoint, because it is a discussion. And when you have that, hello, Joe.
Howdy.
When you have that discussion with people, when combat is a physical debate, when it comes time to prove your point and to state your point, it should be decisive and effective. The worst thing you can be is non-committal in any of your training, in any of your fighting, but especially training. I want you to do what you're saying you're doing, even if it's not working, because you need, when when you're training, especially at slower speed, to realize you may not have the time to reset. So you have to say, okay, I have goofed up. I've gone for a parry over here, and the shot's not where I want it. Can I flow this way and break it? I'm not going to have time to reset and go, oh, no, I should have done this. When you are learning what the guards are, you do that kind of thing. And then you do the same guard against the same shot till it becomes muscle memory. But when you're sparring, everybody misses. And the trick isn't, oh, no, I never want to miss. I want to be perfectly accurate. Perfection is a lie. It's impossible. But you can flow and learn to go, oh, I've made an error. Let me recalculate and redirect. That flexibility of mind and body is what allows a lot of things to happen. So I'm not comfortable being constrained in specific things. One thing, though, I like stationary targets, and I like hanging targets, and I'm probably going to be setting up a variant of the stick drills where if you're doing concussive, you take a staff and you hang it from the middle from like a tree where there's lots of room, and you set it swinging at you, and you're blocking the ends alternating. So you have to flow through your guards to block the ends. And every time you do it, it's like a tilter, It's going to come back at you from the other side. So you start to learn a rhythm of, if I do this, I do that. But it's coming at different angles because of the little bit of chaos that's going to be generated. Now,
and I'm hoping, talking about the the different forms and stuff. I'm hoping that the two people that get to do a little sword bout during the play get there early enough to see some of what we do, especially the person who was trying to kind of help choreograph it. Because we were watching it during the dry run, and I looked over at Trey. I said, I really kind of want to go over there. Like, I kind of want to just take those swords from them and go, here, this is what you guys need to do.
it I am not a fight choreography swordsman. If you want a lot of fight choreography conversation on a medium end, you look up someone like Jill Barrett. All her reviews are from the perspective of theater, film, fight choreography.
Well,
because that's what she does.
And even for this though, it's not, because it's it's put on by a nonprofit organization. It's done with donations and everything. No one's expecting a professional choreography.
Right.
But showing, like, I just wanted to go over there and show them like the different guard positions and be like, if you guys just do these, and then after you get to position, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one of you does your, the person does their swipe, just to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we've all watched a sword fighting that is obviously 1, 2, 3, cut. 1, 2, 3, now you cut. 1, 2, 3, now I cut. And it's like,
yeah, it would have, to me, it would still flow better than what they were doing.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, if it's something that can be done useful and it can be presented in a very respectful way, because I don't want to be the actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if anyone has interest, that's why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to seeing that. Now, if you guys go through the videos, especially the older videos, you will see me go through my drills. They haven't changed much in the 12 years or whatever I've been doing this live stream, because they work.
Mm-hmm.
And they're building me back up. I'm finally on the cusp of, and only people who've been through a lot of physical knockbacks and having to cover will get this. There are some people, I want to get in shape. And then there is the, I have to get in shape to get in shape. And I am finally, after many, many, many years of working again, getting to the point where I've built up enough where I can start actually getting into shape, despite that being something that I was told would never be able to be happening. You know, you can't.
Yeah.
So yes, I'd love to do that. I'd love to get my capabilities back. But yes,
we may have another student for you to teach while you're up here too.
Okay.
Martin, his name's Martin. He was the one that Trey and I had told you about. We had met him at the park. He was doing self-defense stuff with a girl that he knows, like showing her different, moves and everything. And we were talking with him about the sword fighting, and he's the one I actually ordered the books for. I ordered all 3 of your books to give him.
Yeah.
And I did tell him that we would be doing a live sword demonstration, because he'll message me every once in a while. He'll be like, "Hey, are you and your wife going to be doing anything up at the park soon?" It's like, it's middle of summer and both of us are working 6 days a week,
Yeah.
But
I understand.
So I did tell him that we'd be there tomorrow. So it sounds like he'll be showing up too. So
Excellent.
we may have we may have another person to kind of show the basics to,
and see, that's wonderful, because I do love having new toys. I mean, people to play with.
Fresh meat. I mean,
well, it's good. It revitalizes the soul.
Yeah.
And I do want to point, because Kitty had said that about one of my dance students. Excellent. I hope we can be of use to them. Here's an idea for the August 3rd stream, taking my drills, how I train adds to my notes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Since I found the website, again, I've been training nightly with the Hanjin trainer and Myers Square website. See, I find that fascinating, that Thesis is using the Myers Square website as a means for training a Jin. It's mind-blowingly delightful.
Isn't Myers the form that Richie uses?
I believe so, yes.
With longsword?
With longsword. So it will be interesting to see how the cuts, because I can see some of it.
Yeah.
Transferring, especially like what would be considered a war Jin, two-handed Jin. I have to think. The wheeling is good. Yeah, a lot of it crosses over, because shockingly, guys, the martial arts, even though they're done in different countries, people's body mechanics are still roughly the same. I've said it before, I'll say it again. A Ming Dynasty soldier, a Chinese soldier, is going to be, his elbow is going to bend exactly like an 1880s German fencer. I mean, there's a limited range of motion that their elbows can do. The human height is not that diverse, really, until you get to the extremes. But when you get to the average, it's not. And so swords tend to be scaled towards a certain set of height. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there's a storm coming in. Of course there is. So all of a sudden, it's like the pressure is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's neat to see people starting to go, I can learn from this system and take a piece. When you start walking that buffet, you get a much better meal, in my opinion, than if you just stick to only one weapon and sword style.
Yeah, don't just hit the hibachi. Go for the dumplings. Go for the meat on a stick, and of course, always get the crab ragoons. But
why are you talking? Oh, crab ragoon. Oh,
you're the one that said buffet. So
that is the dim sum right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, Thesis says, I do forms and still get asked what karate style I'm doing. Ignorance is annoying that way. Well, here's the thing. And you have to remember, it's not malicious ignorance, usually. And it's not usually meant as an attack or an insult. It's usually from a place of genuine curiosity. Oh, God. Oh, all of a sudden. But, and it's met with, I think, the desire to learn. Now, I think a lot of us carry the scars of the way we were treated in our youth and the way it's so easy to have our interests dismissed. But we must not become jaded because we're representatives of the martial arts as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very important to consider yourself an ambassador of that. And, speak from positions of expertise, surrender in positions of ignorance, and try not to ever be in a position of doubt. And you should be good in your discussions. Followed by dumplings, which I could steam so, and the meat on the stick is so good. Yes,
And I say meat on a stick because, well, let's face it. Do any of us really believe it's chicken? And Dynasty Buffet actually lists it as meat on a stick now.
See, here's the thing. I don't care.
Right.
Like, people. The running joke was I used to go to this little Mexican restaurant that was on 20, just west of Willow Creek. Just east, I'm sorry, of Willow Creek. At that restaurant that every few years changes over because some shady deal was done and they're not up to code.
You mean the old lure?
No, but past the lure. There was either past or before. There was this building that would be a different different restaurant, and at that for a time it was a Mexican restaurant. This is it got years and years and years ago.
Okay, so before I even was in that area.
But when I said it was a Mexican restaurant, there was no English anywhere.
Oh, those are the best.
No one was taller than like this tall. The only beverages were Fantas and Coke in the glass bottle in the necessary like misfiring cooler with like the blinking light.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times there wasn't a menu. Like people would just sort of go, yeah. and you get what you wanted.
That sounds like the place that that's down on Central Avenue, right before you get to the I-94 on ramp. There's a little Mexican place that literally there is around from about 4:00 through 7:30. There is a line of people ordering to go.
Right. And it was like that. I do not know what I ate there. I could not pronounce what I ate there. I simply pointed at somebody's plate and went, how much?
And I'm going to skip ahead to a comment here.
Yes.
I skip over theses for just a moment.
I'm sorry, what is this? It sounds really interesting. I love both history and fencing. Saw this in my recommended and had to check it out. Well, Lillian, okay, to rewind. My name's Nicholas Tucker, and I run a small organization that is somehow also international called the Historical Fencing Guild. And what I have done is I've studied in different groups, different organizations, and lots of historical manuals. And what I tried to do was condense it down into its simplest, what they all agreed on, and use that to teach people as a sort of Rosetta Stone between styles, so that we can have people who are like classic collegiate fencers speaking with people who are of Chinese thesis is here. So Chinese Jin fighters, and they can discuss what works and doesn't work. And what I've been doing for the last 20 years or so getting real close to 25, is doing specialized work to help people who have physical limitations, who have survived traumas, a few other categories, who can't find help learning how to sword fight anywhere else because they might be considered non-standard students, find a way where they can learn and through the sword gain confidence and capability. We also, thank you, Joe. We also review products geared again towards the budget. We do homemade products, how to make sword trainers at home if you can't afford to order something, using relatively inexpensive materials. I keep all my books as inexpensive as Amazon will let me, and they are available at certain libraries. So interlibrary loan is usually available for any of them if you can afford them that way. They're also on Kindle, again, trying to make it as available and inexpensive as possible. Once a week, I have a live stream that is open to my more local students, like Joey, who's here, and Trelana, his wife, and some others, and my more far abroad students and associates and people we talk to, like Foxy and Thesis. And we discuss the art that we love. We discuss what's working for us, what isn't. And we try to build each other up without any real toxicity or grumpiness. Now, it means we all wander a little bit, and sometimes the conversation goes in odd directions.
Mm-hmm.
But
such as food,
okay.
like when you entered the show.
Right. And the premise of that being, a lot of times I will see a style that somebody is fighting that I don't know what they're fighting. But if I watch it enough, I can emulate it and I can figure out how it works. And so I've built a lot of capabilities in tailoring my own style that I can't give you external vocabulary for, because I learned it from watching, a Russian person demonstrating shamshir style. Speech impediment sometimes kicks in, but we answer questions. We do recordings of bouts. I do educational comments. It's all about building folks up. So if you're still around, let me know, and we'll be happy to help you with anything you can find. Dig through this channel. We go back a few years. You can find a lot here, and I do it all for free because I believe that all art is for everyone, and that includes martial arts. So I try to give education. Local people can borrow my gear, but online, I'm talking to people in Utah and Brazil and Colombia and the Netherlands and a few other places. I can't exactly usually ship them trainers. Occasionally, but what I can do is give the information to get started and help them find groups and places that work well. I've been known to tour different organizations like AmpGuard and other LARP groups who may have vibrant communities but have hit or miss effectiveness.
And definitely come back if you like fencing. Definitely, it'll either be, I'm guessing, next week or the week after, depending on how quickly I can get videos edited. But we are doing a live demonstration. I don't know where you're at, but if you happen to be in the Northwest Indiana area, we will be doing a live sword demonstration at Twin Oak Parks in New Chicago, Indiana, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. We are going to be taking videos of some of those bouts to be able to show. Like I said, probably I'm guessing either next week or the week after is when you'll want to do that, Nick. It's kind of what we did last year.
Yeah.
So definitely subscribe to the channel. And we'll actually have some bouts. If you go back through his videos about a year ago from this point. You'll see a live stream. It was actually myself and Rich Asplund doing the stream that day. I can't remember why you weren't available, but Richie and I did a stream and we talked about the various videos.
I believe I was ill from overdoing it.
Yeah, that very well could be.
But I will also tell you one thing about me that you won't find in most sword and martial arts streamers. If I don't know, I will say, I don't know, but I will either look it up or I will find somebody who does. And it's a good place to learn about anything you ask. If Nick doesn't know the answer, he will direct you to someone who does. And that's basically what we're about here. Very low pressure, very sincere, just trying to figure out how to make things go and make it easier for everybody. But with that wonderful bit of dictation, we have cracked the hour line. I am actually quite warm, and I have some things I need to get done to get ready for the show, the live show tomorrow. So, is there anything you want to talk about before we go, Joe?
Nothing I can think of offhand.
Okay. Well then,
Other
if
than
not, we
I'm
will be
ready to
back.
get stabbed tomorrow. So,
Oh yeah. Well, rest assured, we all will.
and again, disclaimer: YouTube, that was a joke.
That was a joke, and we will be using plastic training weapons.
Yes.
I prefer to use the HDPE/plastic or nylon weapons because one, we're taking metal outside that doesn't always go as well, and two, I like the police to be able to identify what we're holding as not an actual weapon as often as possible. But we look forward to seeing you too, Dawn. With that, guys, I want you to keep your guard up, keep your eyes open, do your drills, be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will be back next week at same bat time, same bat channel to discuss what happened to tomorrow. Absolutely, Lillian. If you go to IndieCD.org/about Nicholas Tockert, that will actually give you all my links. From there, you'll be able to find the Amazon links to my books. The other channel, I do another channel that supports, art, creative interests, and some of my own personal interests, being the Nicholas Tockert channel. I have links in the chat, in the description of this video and all my videos to help you find other things. A lot of it depends on what you are looking for. I'm kind of, if you're a Harry Potter fan, the Ollivander of swords and sword styles. If you tell me what you want, I can help you find what you need. But start there, and let me know what you're interested in, especially your background. I'm on Facebook. I'm on X. Joe, you're saying?
I was going to say, if you're on Facebook, look up HFG Public.
Yes.
And actually, you know what? I'll just try and link that real quick before we go.
Thank you. This program runs from 8 to 9 Eastern. So I'm running a little over, but when somebody's coming in with sincere questions like you have, I love to be of service. And if you cut and paste this lovely conglomeration of letters and numbers, you can find the public Facebook group for the Historical Fencing Guild, where we will be happy to chat, discuss gear, books, styles, anything you need. We've got a wide variety of very talented people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think this is about. I think it's a good way of putting it. I will fix that later. You're not wrenched on this account. I can fix that. I have to go through my YouTube to do it. And if I do that, it'll destabilize my stream. So I will do that as soon as I am done with this broadcast on. And oh, wait. I thought you were, though.
No, I don't think she is on this one. Actually, I don't think I am either. But,
Well, I'll get all that fixed in a moment. Other than that, guys, I will see you next week at this time and over on the Nicholas Stockert channel Monday morning, where I'll be talking about writing. I'm also a game designer, an artist, and a whole lot of things. Sword
he's a
master,
jack of all trades.
yes, and a master of some. But I look forward to seeing and hearing more from you too, Lillian. Hope you have a lovely night. And with that, guys, we're going to call it, largely because I need to get to some medicine I have to take. So I want you guys to have a lovely night and see you real soon. Toodles.
Good night, folks.